Hey, welcome to Nia's Divine Garden. This is Niyah, and I have what I feel like is a really cool. Oh, I forgot something. Hold on. I need this. Sorry, I totally forgot. I needed a key element. But anyway, hi, back again, Niyah, and this is a little different. So we have a full moon in Sagittarius coming up. I'm going to be reading some notes. My glasses may go on and may come off. We'll see how it goes with how well I can see because the glare from the monitor just really bugs me. But this came inspired because I was looking at the chart for my son. So I am going to do a reading and explanation about how the full moon is going through the houses, but I am not doing it for you as the adult. I am going to do it for you as the parent. And my intention for this video is so that anyone watching, if you have children, whether they're your biological children, adopted children, nieces, nephews, to see how this full moon may be impacting them and how can you, as the adult in their life, who get a better understanding of the energy they're feeling, and how can you support them through this full moon energy so that they feel supported and they know what's going on and how maybe you can communicate it to them and things of that nature. So I haven't done a video like this before. I've just been doing things like this for myself as a parent. I sometimes look at the transits to see how they impact my sons, especially if I see something like their behavior, just like today, my 6-year-old, every time I say something, tears. Every time I said something today, tears. And having a child who's on the spectrum, who's highly sensitive, I'm kind of used to that. But today it just seemed like nothing I said was right. Everything I said was wrong. I was wrong all day today. That's how I felt from the moment he got up to even just a few minutes ago, wrong. So as I'm recording this, it is 2 days before the full moon. And what I do know is that the moon does, my son sleep a little funny, things like that. I do realize that with the moons. And them having a moon dominant mother, um, that makes sense. And so I decided today to just kind of look to see where the moon was in my son's chart. And it's transiting his 4th house in Scorpio. So the moon is in Scorpio and the moon is debilitate. No, it's in its fall in Scorpio. It doesn't, because you think about the moon is all about our emotions and expressing and feeling. And Scorpio is like, I don't trust in people. I'm not telling them how I feel. You want me to tell them how I feel? Negative. I'm not doing that. So rather than, so it's like this, I want to feel, and Scorpio's like, but I don't want to. And it's like, I want to feel. So my son is having the big feelings. And I don't understand why he's having the big feelings. Everything seems to be a trigger for him today. It's in his 4th house. So that is the place where you're of the mother figure or the mother literally. And then in my chart, this is happening in my 5th house, the house of children. So even with the other one, it's been a little touch and go today. It wasn't a bad day. Generally speaking, they're not bad children, so it wasn't a bad day, but it was definitely a day where it felt like I was just missing the mark today. So I said, you know what, let me just, do a little something different, have a little fun with this and see how this goes. So I got some notes. And then I'm going to share my screen because I do have a chart. And then what I will also do is I'll pull a keyword for what this energy may mean for your child, children, however the case may be, something that you can do. So an inspired action that you can take to support them, or it's inspired action they can take, kind of depends on what I'm channeling as the card pulls up, what I feel, and a self-care for your child. So this is a self-care that I'll tweak the card a little bit depending on what comes up so that you can make it for your baby, but this is self-care for your child. I hope that you like this. Please let me know in the comments how you enjoyed this video because this is a first for me. So I'm excited about it. So let's get started. I'm going to be reading some notes. Shouts out to Astrology by Heather. Her channel is amazing. She gives a really nice breakdown. So I'm going to go through it, but some of the notes I took as I was reading for myself. And then kind of see how that may play out for a kid. So, and my intention when I was shuffling cards was that this would probably be for people with small children to teenagers. So there's that. If you have a grown kid, this is probably not going to apply the way I explain it, but hey, you may be able to rethink it like, okay, this would be like a little kid. How would this be for an adult? So let's just see. So let's talk about full moon energy and things of that nature. So this is a full moon in Sagittarius. This is happening on the 14th. This will be at 7:52, I believe, Eastern Standard Time in the AM. So the moon tomorrow night will be coming into its fullness, but it won't be full until in the morning. And I will throw this in here since I'm doing a full moon video for those that like to charge their crystals with a full moon. It kind of just depends. That full moon energy is present now. So it's present 3 days before and 3 days after. So you really have like a 6-day window of that full moon energy. So it kind of depends on whether you want to catch the full moon energy while it's waxing or waning. So for me personally, when I charge my crystals, I like to charge them during the waxing energy. That build up, and as it's cleaning and it's building and charging and lifting. So I like the waxing energy. That's just me personally. So like for me, I may put my crystals out tomorrow night. But if I'm trying to do a release ritual with the full moon, I may wait until the evening after the moon is full, because technically that evening it's no longer full. It's already in its waning phase. So I may do it then, because the waning moon is when you are releasing. You're manifesting with waxing, you're releasing with waning. So just thinking about that. Gratitude ritual is something you can do with your kids. Like you can get them in that habit of being grateful, that attitude of gratitude. So maybe starting that day, just, hey, you know what? Let's think about the last few months. So looking back at the new moon in Sagittarius back in December, I think it was the 4th of 2021 through now, what are some things that you were grateful for? And doing a gratitude ritual. I love what Queen Poe said, write it on some paper that will really break down into water and take it to the water and release it. Bay leaves is another good one. You could just throw some leaves in the water. So those are just some ways that you can do a gratitude ritual together for the moon. You can also give your kids a spiritual bath. This is a great time for releasing, washing away the old energy so you can make way for the new. Don't give them a whole lot of salty food that day, and give them a salt bath. All you need is salt and some water, a prayer, whatever prayers or manifestations or words, intentions that you want to say over it. Say that, and boom, you've got to give your babies a spiritual bath. So those are some ritual things that you can do with your little ones. If there was something that was bothering them and they were like, I didn't like that this happened and this didn't feel good to me. And you're like, well, you know what? We're going to make sure that we don't keep those feelings anymore. So we're going to write it down and we're going to put it on the paper. I'm going to tear the paper up and we're going to throw it outside in the trash. So that way you don't have to have them, especially if they're really young, playing with fire. So right, have them make a list. What didn't you like? You didn't like this? Okay, cool. But what did you learn? Awesome. So now you have them talking about, even though this may not have been a great feeling experience, there was still something they learned from it. And that way they can release it with that learning staying and releasing the bad feelings. Didn't intend for that, but hey, it came up. I'm just going to go with the flow. All right. So we'll talk about the moon. So the moon itself reflects our feelings. It's our emotional body. It's our inner landscape. It is the energy of the divine feminine. So the divine feminine is not related to womanhood. Womanhood and divine feminine are not synonyms. Though a lot of womb holders are more, project more of the divine feminine energy. That doesn't necessarily make it their dominant energy. They could have more dominant divine masculine energy. The energy itself simply is reflective of whether it is an intangible or tangible expression. Masculine energy is more tangible, feminine energy is more intangible. It's limitless, it's boundless, it's infinite. So lots of big feelings, big boundless, there's no box. Feminine energy has no box. So like boundless, you can't see it, you don't know what it could be, limitless potential. So understanding that it is the mother. So we have mother energy. So a lot of times if you feel like and womb holders, it's mothers and womb holders in particular. So how are they interacting with, if you are their mother or their nurturing parent, then how are they interacting with you? How are they interacting with other womb holders or nurturing individuals? That can help, that could be related to what's going on with the moon. It's also our body because we are mostly water and the moon is over water. So it also does talk about our body as a whole. Then this is happening in the sign of Sagittarius, which is the I wander and I wonder. I like to think, I like to learn, I like to gain more knowledge, thinking, gaining more knowledge. It's like an air, it's a fire sign, but it's really airy and then it's very mental. But it's also like, I gotta go. I need to be someplace not here. So I wander. So things like long distance travel, higher learning, philosophy, optimism, it's a really, really high vibrational energy. So enthusiastic, adventurous, freedom. It is the guru of the zodiac signs, and it is ruled by the planet of Jupiter, which is luck, expansion, big, 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 big. Full moons in general are all about the completion. They are the end of the lunar cycle. So this lunar cycle could either be specifically to the lunar cycle of this month or the lunar cycle of this sign, which started in December and is ending now. So it's also about harvest. This is a time when you would be harvesting your crops. So the intentions that were set with new moon, you would be harvesting. So whatever thing new started in December, right now you should be seeing that come to fruition. So if they had a project for school or things of that nature, you should actually start seeing if they did something in school in December and they're getting an award for it now, that would be a perfect representation of that cycle coming around. It's illumination because the moon itself does not cast its own light. It's reflecting the light of the sun. So whatever you could not see in the new moon phase is illuminated now with the sun shining on the moon with the full moon phase. So it's also about the revelation because you couldn't see it. It's illuminated now, so now it's being revealed. And then it's a super moon specifically because our perception of the moon is like, oh, hey moon, how are you? It's right there. So it's really close to Earth, which means that emotional impact is really, really, really more directly felt. So moons in Sagittarius are all about feelings that a need for freedom, a need for freedom, breaking away from the mundane, and also about knowledge. So if you feel like your kids are like being really like almost like Aquarius energy, like, yo, I gotta be out. I gotta do something. I don't do this. I gotta do something else. To be why. This is going to impact mutable signs most specifically. So Sagittarius, Pisces, Virgo, and Gemini may be really, really more emotionally reactive. So if your child has a sun, moon, or rising in any of those signs, they would feel a lot of this energy more so than other signs. It's not that the other signs won't feel it, but the way they're going to feel it is going to be completely different. So if you're like watching this for multiple kids, you can't expect them to react the same way because their birth charts aren't going to be laid out the same way. Hopes and dreams, optimism, because of the aspects it's making to Neptune are going to really be amplified. They're going to have some new perspectives on things. So let's say there's something you've been working with your child on, and all of a sudden they're like, and it almost seems like they get it in a different way. This is why. You need to consider what is realistic and what isn't. So if they come to you like, I want to do such and such thing, and you're like, who did? That don't even make sense. One, don't tell them that. But then talk to them about it. How can they ground that into reality? Because the energy is there from Saturn to really ground our hopes and dreams into reality. So if they're expressing hopes and dreams around colleges, a lot of kids are going off to college, sports, projects, ideas. They want to just go to the beach, whatever these things are, talk to them, not about why it may not be realistic. Talk to them about how to make it realistic. Tell them be careful what they wish for, because wishes may come true and it may not look like the way they want it to do. So if they're wishing on stars and whatnot, just make sure, talk to them about the power of their words and setting specific intentions about how they want to experience that wish coming true. They may also be really sensitive to everyone else. My youngest is a good example of someone, if there's other people around that are upset, he will cry. Even if he can't see them, he will cry. And I'll be like, what's wrong with you? And then I'll see other kids crying. I'm like, this may be elevated for other kids, because a lot of children are super sensitive and parents don't realize it. So they may be sensitive to everything else going on. There's a lot of energy going on. So again, circling back to that, keeping their energy clear is a great thing to do. I even taught my son to say, you know, my feelings are my own and I don't hold anybody else's feelings, and saying that over and over again. So that way they understand their feelings are valid. Their feelings can be expressed, and to make sure they're keeping themselves shielded from anyone else's feelings. So that, I think, is yeah, because if they're feeling everyone else's feelings, they may not be able to tell what's theirs and what's someone else's, and it kind of just makes it difficult for them to trust their intuition. So just for folks that need to, they're like, okay, well, I don't know, they're rising and all the good stuff. That's cool. You can go to astro.com. It is free. You can put in their put in your information. And I thought this would be a cool thing to do, because many adults may not know, unless they just readily have access to their birth certificate, what time they were born. They may know the location, but they may not know what time they were born. And in order to get the rising sign and their moon sign and things like that, you need an accurate birth time and location. So unless they're children that you adopted, you probably know the accurate time and location. You may be able to call that off the top of your head. Boom. If you're not working on your own chart, you can look at theirs. So let's see here. Also, Cafeastrology, if you put their chart in there, Cafeastrology will actually give you a mini breakdown. So you can actually get a breakdown of their birth chart, which as a parent can help out, because then you can have a deeper understanding of who they are, why were they born, why did they come into this world now, and what it is that you can help them do to walk more authentically as themselves. Okay, so let me share my screen. And let me see if I can get this to launch. All righty. All right, and my sons have been really super quiet, so I don't feel like I'm going to say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway, that proactive apologies if they're loud, because I got little ones and I decided I'm doing a kid video. I'm not trying to make this all perfect, like I don't have children, because I do. So there we go. So let's see what we got here. So this is a birth chart. So if you get it from astro.com, this is what it would look like. And for those who are new to astrology, this is not your thing. I'm gonna do a really quick run through. These little symbols right here in the white around the outside are the zodiac signs. This one is Gemini, this is Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sag, Cap, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus. In here are little numbers. These are called houses. So the houses actually are reflective of different areas of life. So each house represents a different area of life. And the order, the zodiac signs are the lens in how we see that area. That's the filter in which we see the area, and the planets are what we do based on how we see that area of life. Boom, there's your little mini birth chart understanding. So like these are, all this up here are planets. This is just a random chart that I cast. But it worked out well because it started with Gemini. And since we are in Gemini season, I feel like that is really cool to have Gemini on the ascendant, which is the rising sign. So your rising sign is always in the first house, generally speaking. And I am using whole signs for our astrology folks because it's just easier to see for people. All righty, so we're going to start with Gemini here. And the moon is going to be in Sagittarius. So see, this obviously is the moon, and it is in Sagittarius in the 7th house. So 7th house, this is the area of life about what you seek in others. So these are really close personal relationships, really small, like their clique. So this will be their clique. The people that come to your house to get all of your snacks, this is their 7th house people. Their best friend, 7th house. Even to an extent, maybe their relationship with you, 7th house. But anything related to that, and you start seeing it illuminated, like you're seeing things happening, they want to maybe go do something different, they want to spend the night at their friend's house, them and their parents want to take them on a trip with their friend, this would be 7th house thing. So let's see what keyword we have for, this is for all of the parents who have a child that is a Gemini rising. What is the key word for the full moon happening in the 7th house? Oh, okay. So their keyword is vulnerable. And on the back of the deck, we had opinions in reverse. So this could be maybe somebody in their group saying something to them, or they find out somebody in the group said something to them and they are feeling a way about it. Maybe they feel exposed, maybe they feel seen, or maybe they want to share something with their group and they're really not sure if they are okay to do so. So letting them know it's okay to be vulnerable. Being vulnerable is a superpower. Oh snap! Well, this is and I think this is a good thing. I think you want to shine. Because what we have here is the sun. This is the sun. So this intention for this deck is, what can you do as a parent to help them? And this is to tell them to shine. This is tell them to shine, be bright, be creative. This is inner child energy. Like we're talking doing a kids reading and the inner child card shows up. And this is the happiest card in the deck. Tell them to be the most authentic selves. Tell them it is okay to live loud and proud. And they're going to experience this just big opening of their heart, because that was what's on the back of the deck. Ace of Cups is all about new love, new connections. So I'm thinking for kids, this would be this new self-love, this new love in themselves because they're being their most authentic self. And I think that's beautiful. All right, so where's my, can I go forward? All right, so I didn't change the chart, but let's just pretend this one is in the front. So this is the Cancer rising, and it would be in the 8th house. So the 8th house is all about the emotional aspect of a relationship. So the relationships they have here, this is the emotional impact of those relationships. It's also our personal subconscious, it's our shadow. It is a place where we do transformation. It's about letting go, and other people's money. And when I put the other people's money, I'm like, well, I don't want to put that. And the only thing I could think of was child support. So even though this doesn't, hopefully they're not privy to what's happening with child support, but there may be something child support related to anyone listening, because I have no idea why I decided to put it. And that's the only thing I could think of was child support. But your child may start showing signs of puberty, lose a tooth, that's a transformation. If you got a little one, may start walking. Just something about them may change. They may want to change their hair. If they've got braces, they may get braces. So I don't know why I'm focused on the teeth. I don't know what that is. Somebody's child is getting something with teeth, because I have no idea why that's coming up that way. But something that changes for them. How they see themselves may change. There's a big energy of change. and really introspective. It's kind of a secluded type of feeling, even though it's deep relationships, they might want to be like really private. So um, just being cognizant of if they seem like they're being a little bit more introverted, like it's not anything, I wouldn't be concerned about it. I would just honor that space that they need in order for them to feel like they're okay. So let's see, keyword for the Cancer risings with the full moon in the 8th house. Okay, so they got 2. All right, so they got stealth and resilience. So there may be something, because it is a shadow, that they're holding on to that they're not sharing. So if you think that they're being secretive, that may be true, but it might be trying to come out. It might be illuminated. So pay attention to the signs. And whatever it is, if it feels like it's heavy and it's kind of weighing them down, this might be a good time to really talk about resiliency, but not in that children need to be resilient. I always feel like children should not have to be resilient. That is an adult thing. So allowing them the space to let go, allowing them space to let go. And before I go any further, I will self-care card to the Gemini rising. So Gemini risings, let me go backwards here. What's the self-care that the kids with a Gemini rising should have? So those of you listening who have children who are Gemini risings, some of y'all might be in the spirituality. So it is connect with crystals. So if you are a crystal person, but you haven't let your children connect with crystals, I would do that. Maybe get them a piece of jewelry with their birthstone, take them to a crystal shop, go out and dig for rocks. Those are some kind of self-care that you can let your child do. All right, so back to the 8th house. What is something the parents of the Cancer risings can do with this full moon happening? I did it backwards. I did. I totally did it backwards. I just realized I did it backwards because I was just like, that's not where I totally, 1 second. I have to flip the slides. 1 second. Just give me a second because I realized I did them backwards. And look, I was like, wait, I did that backwards. So I fixed my slides. I'm going to continue where I'm at because apparently this would be not Cancer rising, would not be in the 8th house. Taurus rising would have it in the 8th house. So if your child is a Taurus rising, now that I've got my life together, Taurus rising, it would be 8th house, and I'm back where I'm supposed to be. So, and for Taurus rising, we had the stealth and resiliency. So let's see what advice we have for the parents with children who are Taurus rising. Our parents need to know for their kids who have a Taurus rising. You can't turn it up loud. Mommy's talking. I'll turn this all the way down. And you cannot be loud. The moment you're loud, you go out the room. Go sit over there. All right, so Taurus rising, 8th house, full moon in the 8th house. What do our parents need to know? Ooh, okay. So with the, all right, so they have the Ace of Pentacles. And Pentacles is always all about material, like monetary, job, things like that. So there may be something new that they need to do, or they're going to be receiving, because aces are all, you see these hands, this is all about receiving. They're being given something. So I don't know if maybe, again, going back to that child support thing, and maybe there's somebody who's getting a payment. Maybe there's a parent that's going to give the child a gift in a financial standpoint. You may want to give the child a seed to plant, like a literal actual seed to plant. If they've been frustrated and things of that nature, they may need an outlet. Gardening is a really great like mindfulness practice. So giving them an actual seed to plant and water and nurture and take care of, and reminding them as they're nurturing that plant, they can also nurture themselves. That may be something that you want to do. So yeah, somebody's getting something for these Taurus. And so self-care for Taurus risings, what self-care can the parents encourage the kids to do in conjunction with this full moon? Dance, yes. Again, this like something is in their bodies energetically that they need to let go of. So having them move, dance, have a little dance party, that is a great way to move energy. So tell them to dance with them, make it a family thing. So that is for our Taurus risings who decided they needed to be up at the top of the list. All right. So now I'm back in order. Now I'm back in order. You cannot be loud over here. Go back over there. And you must be quiet. All right. So now that I'm back on track. So now we are at the Cancer rising. I was like, that's not right. I'm a Cancer rising. This is happening in my sixth house. So Cancer risings, sixth house. So this is literally our health. So how healthy our physical vessel, our body is. One second. So Cancer rising, health, wellness, taking care of our body. This is hygiene, this is exercise, all things about taking care of ourselves and being healthy. This is our day-to-day life. So these are the things that we do on a day-to-day basis. So like thinking like your kids, chores that they do on a day-to-day basis, activities they do on a day-to-day basis. If they're old enough to have a job, the job they do on a day-to-day basis. This is their day-to-day life. This is also self-discipline and pets. So if you have a pet, this is also the house of pets. So they may be looking again, Sagittarius. They may want to have a change in. So again, Sagittarius likes freedom. They don't like things to stay the same. They like to change it up. It can't be the same thing each and every single day. So what new ways can they take care of their body? What new ways can they break from the monotony of the day-to-day life that they have? If you see where they're like, I don't want to do this thing, this is not simply just them. The universe has said there needs to be a change. Just like the universe says there needs to be change with you, it's the same thing with our kids. They're still human. They're still having this experience with us. So we need to honor what the Most High is aligning for them. So what needs to be changed? Talk about it as a family and see what you can come up with. So let's see what the key word is for our Cancer rising children. What did I just say? They need to change. This says renewal. This as renewal. Oh, and it's got childlike. Look, y'all be shuffling. I said what I said. They need a renewal. They need change. There's something in there that is causing them to lose that childlike wonderment that is keeping them rigid. And depending on their, like, you're not meant to be that way. We're not even meant to be that way as adults. So don't cause them to be that way as children. Let them be children. So what is the advice we have for our parents with Cancer rising children with this full moon happening in their 6th house? Cancer rising children. Again. All right. So 2 cards again. So we have Swords energy. So this is air. This is their mind. So we have the Knight and the Queen. So, which is interesting because those 2 cards follow behind each other. Comes Knight and Queen. So this is swift movement and swift decision. This is swift movement and swift decision, because look at this Knight. He is on the go. He is running. So we talk about health in the physical body. This could literally be, they need to run. They need to, like, and this could be 2 groups of children. So this could be some kids that need to get up and get out and play, run, go do something. And then there could also be the kids that are doing too much and they need to find stillness. And there may be just need a balance of movement and a balance of stillness. She is holding her sword, but she has not swung it, because she only swings it when she absolutely needs to. So maybe talking to your children about not rushing into things when they're making day-to-day decisions, and how to have their discernment. So if things are coming up at work, if they have a job or things like that, how can they make those decisions from a place of discernment and leaning into their intuition as opposed to rushing in? So those are just some things. Your pet may be growing or wanting to be free as well, because there's birds on this card. And it's like the bird is close with the Knight, and then by the time you get to the Queen, it's further away. So again, this also could be like, again, breaking away from the monotony, wanting to go somewhere. Because Sagittarius like travel. They like to be on the go. So that is for our Cancer risings. Then we have our Leo risings. So for Leo risings, this is happening in the 5th house. This is the house of fun. Like, this is the kid house. This is like kid energy all day, creativity of all kinds. If it is creative, this is the 5th house. If it is about children, this is the 5th house. Dancing, arts, love, playtime, relaxation. This is all the 5th house energy. So again, with this full moon happening in the 5th house, this may be this desire for them to want to play more, this desire for them to want to go outside more, this desire for them to want to create more. And you can encourage that when them, like, hey, do you want to go out? You want to go take them to go see something with the arts, do some art, but really encouraging them to play, regardless of their age. Tell your teenagers to play. Go out and play. Go do something, play, something that requires you to have fun. That is how you honor the energy of the full moon in the 5th house. And it's going to be illuminated because it'll be like this really strong desire to be free and allowed to play. And you letting them know that they're safe in that expression, like, it's okay. You feel like you need to play, boom, let's do that. You feel like you need to take the day off from work, take the day off from work and play. Oh, Lord. That one came out real fast too. Hold on. I knew I was going to do that. I tried really hard not to. Yes. Yeah, some of these all the way down to the bottom. What am I at? Okay. This is the card that came out, release. Like some of these babies, these Leo risings, Leo's not about being uptight, and some of these babies are like, yeah, I feel tense, I'm holding on to something and it doesn't make me feel good. They need to release. With everything going on, this heavy energy, to feel like our kids are more sensitive than we are. They are more sensitive than we are to what's happening around, whether they hear about it or not. They're still super connected to the divine, especially if they're like under the age of like 10. Like yes, they are super still connected to the divine. So they feel it. Have them release, help them let that go and help them play. What is the advice for the parents that have Leo rising children? Oh, yeah, there's something going on with these babies. This is the Five of Wands, and this is all about chaotic energy. It could be chaotic energy in terms of conflict, or it could literally just simply be their energy is like everywhere. They need to ground. You need to help them come back to themselves. Because the fifth house really is about that creative expression that is authentically you. It is creative expression that leads to their hopes and dreams being fulfilled. So really having them make space to be, just play, not be still. They need to play and relax so that that tense energy that five has going on, they can let that go. What's self-care for our Leo rising children? What are Leo rising kids need? Yes, oh my gosh. They got positive affirmations. I'm like, I just want to hug these babies. OMG. Like they have the positive affirmations is their self-care. Say positive affirmations with them, help them say positive affirmations to themselves, write them out, journal them, listen to them. Yes, make a vision board of positive. That's a perfect fifth house activity with that self-care, is for them to make a vision board for themselves of nothing but positive affirmations. That's a great way to pull in both that fifth house energy and that self-care that they need, and help them, whatever that chaos is, whether it's people outside, them internally, they need that. Oh my goodness, consider your baby's hugged. Oh my word. Okay, so we are now at Virgo rising. So Virgo rising, this is happening in your fourth house. So much like I've said in the beginning, for my son, this is your home where you feel safe and secure. This is your roots, your ancestry, your traditions, the very introverted energy. And this is also reflective of the mother or nurturing figure in your life. So I'll just use my son. My son's been like one or the other. He's either crying because I've said something, or he wants to hug me and hold on to me. So that could be even the other one, and it's not even happening in his house, but he's a Virgo rising. It's like, I want to sit with you. I want to sit with you. So if this is energy that you're seeing, honor that, make space. Like my son's walked up to me, I think at least 6 times today to ask for a dancing hug. But he's also, every time I've told him no today, like acted like I have said the worst possible thing in the world. Lost it. What is the key word for the kiddos that are Virgo? What I said, like, honor that. Give them grace. Give them grace. This is the place where they feel safe. And most importantly, where they feel safe with that nurturing parent. Doesn't have to be mom. Dad could easily be the nurturing parent. Whoever you know, honor which one of y'all it is. Whichever one of y'all is kissing boo-boos and putting band-aids on and tucking people in, that is the nurturing parent. This is that relationship. And that parent needs to make sure they offer safe space for that child to express. Give them grace. If they're making a mistake, they're not, if they do something wrong, it doesn't mean they're bad. Please stop calling your children bad. Please stop doing that. Like, they're kids and they do stuff that may not be right. May not be right. They're still trying to figure it out, just like we're trying to figure it out. So let's try not to label them in the negative when they're just trying to figure it out. That's it. They're simply just trying to figure it out. They're pushing boundaries. They're doing all of these things because they're trying to figure it out. They're trying to figure out who they are, remember who they are, just like we are. What is the advice for the parents with the Virgo rising? Okay, that was loud. Give them the grace you wanted as a child. I don't know who needed that, but give them the grace that you wanted as a child. What does the parents with Virgo rising children need to know? Wow. And I think this is the Virgo card. Where's your bowl? Well, I'm waiting for him to get his bowl. You got the Hermit. And go get your or plate something. I can't feed you with no. Well, just put this on the table in there. Take it in there and put it on the table. Put it on the table. But I feel like this is the for Virgo card. So the Hermit, a lot of times is like Hermit. You think solitude, being alone, things like that. But it's also about learning how to shine your own inner light. It's about disconnecting from everyone else and learning how your light shines. So again, that grace to find and be and develop in who your light is, and learning that to shine it in whatever way it needs to shine. Virgos can be very hard on themselves. So Virgo risings, like Virgos are super analytical and they're really in their head. So they're really mental earth sign. And the stereotype is they're perfectionists. It's because they're really analytical. So they can see everything. And in their shadow aspect, what they do is they see everything about themselves like this isn't right, this isn't right, this isn't right, this isn't right. And what they're learning is how to give themselves grace and see themselves as divine. What's their self-care for the Virgo rising kid? What is the self-care? And it's ground yourself. Hold on, is the card still up here? I just need y'all to see how that beautiful synchronicity looks up. They need to sit. They need to be still. Virgo's ruled by Mercury, so it's fast energy. Sit, be still. Have some peace and grace and come back into themselves. That's what they need. So I'm gonna make a note to self because my little one is a Virgo rising. So note to self. All right, so we are at Libra rising. So third house. So the third house is all about their mind. It is their mental activity, communication, it is grade school, it is short journeys, neighbors, and it's siblings in general, but most notably younger siblings. So if they have siblings and you see as a little squabbles happening, just pull them apart. Look that they're a little active in the area. If they've got friends that are neighbors, things like that. Stuff going on with school. These are all things that are ruled by the third house. So you may learn something about, schools, ending for a lot of different areas. So, you may learn something that about a class that they had. They may, depending on Mercury's coming out of shadow, so they may be feeling like how communication may be a little wonky for them. So give them space to settle their mind if they're trying to talk and they're like, I can't get my thoughts together. It's okay. It's okay. Or in the opposite, maybe they have been struggling, like I can't seem to get my thoughts together. And then full moon happens and it's like I am clear as a bell. And ways to help them with that is have them journal. Have them journal. This is not a girl or boy or anybody else thing. It's a mindfulness practice to help you focus and empty your mind of all the chatter. What is the key word for our kiddos that are Libra rising? Yeah, so again, like the noise, like the opinions. So have them remember to shut out the noise. With them being a Libra rising, the diplomats. I want to be nice. I want everything to work out for everybody. They'll take those opinions. Those opinions are not for you. They're not for you. Every opinion is not for you. It's an opinion, not for you. This is so perfect. Remember I said their opinion is not for them? Why? Because they're a star. They are a star. You need to tell them this is them. On the stage, front and center, solo dolo. This is them. This is their energy. This is who they are. Remind them that they are a star. The Six of Wands is not just about success. It's about success and people see it. So again, this could go back to school. There could be some recognition coming from school. They could be getting celebrated. Or at the same time, let's say they're not being celebrated, somebody else is, and there's an opinion. It's like it's a subjective thing. It's a subjective thing. Then so it could be a subjective thing or something that it's not, it was an opinion. It was like, we'll just pick this person kind of thing. And they may be feeling bad about it. And they're like, oh, it's okay. And you don't forget who you are. You're still a star. Yes, you are. You're a star. They did not see it, but you are a star. So celebrating success from school may be relevant for our Libra rising, celebrating success, period. Yes. Again, it's feeling like they need to be reminded because they got chanting. So chanting, how I would do chanting for kids is, think of chanting is basically like something that you say over and over again. Say it like a chant, like a cheer. So make a cheer about them being successful. Make a chant and tell them to say it over and over and over again. And if you want to know how long to say it, 4 minutes and 30 seconds. And the relevance of that number, shouts out to you, Yana Van Zant. If you know the prayer beads, the mala beads, there are 108 beads on that strand. And so what you see with the monks, what they're doing is whatever their mantras, whatever they're chanting, they're doing it 108 times. And so 108 times would be 4 minutes and 30 seconds. And it needs to be something really short, I am successful, I am amazing, something to that effect. All right, so that was our Libras. Now we have the Scorpio rising. Okay, so Scorpio risings, Let us see what we have for Scorpio risings. Y'all are in the second house. Money, money, money. So this could be about allowances. This could be about getting an allowance because it's about how you make money. So this could be about allowances. This could be about things they feel are valuable to them. So stuff in their room, if they have game consoles, toys, whatever is tangible that is important to them is ruled by the second house. This is also things about survival. So clothes on their back, food, shoes on their feet. All of these things are survival needs, a roof over their head, their voice. A lot of people don't talk about your voice being in the second house, but it's naturally ruled by Taurus, which rules our voice. So being able to, like, let me be singing more, things like that, they may want to talk more. This is all things that would be related to the second house. So let's see what kind of keyword we have for the kiddos or Scorpio risings. Oh, okay then. So we have versatile. Okay. So they may, okay, so it's summertime. And let's say they're trying to make a little extra allowance money. They may want to think of multiple ways, multiple avenues to be able to do that. With it being even though it's not ruled by Taurus in their chart, it's a Taurus energy still undertone. And maybe they're trying to feel like, they want a little change to their clothes. You want to be more versatile in how they visually express themselves. So whatever they feel like in terms of their values, their personal value system, not yours, theirs. They may need to be flexible in it. It may be changing. It's the mutable sign, so that may be, more fluid in what that looks like. So what advice do we have for our Scorpio risings in terms of the full moon happening in their second house? What parents need to know? So these kids may be pondering a choice. Two of Wands is about choices, often choices that lead to going somewhere. So the parents watching this who have kids that are Scorpio risings, these may be kids choosing which college to go to, because it's all about trying to make a decision, and ultimately the decision leads to a movement. So this could be what college, if they're trying out for magnet or vocational type schools, homeschool, or distance learning, or going back, going to school physically in the next school term. All of these things may be, that require some sort of decision on whether to stay or go, or things like that might be coming up, and which makes sense because this is about, their survival, their needs, what's going to, lead to them making money. So if these are older kids, where they go to school, may, even high schools and grade schools can influence how their talents and skills, because second house is also your talents, can determine how those things develop and how you're able to see them manifest later in life. What self-care do our Scorpio risings? Ooh, aromatherapy. So if you're a parent that likes smell goods in the house, whether there's essential oils and things like that, or just like the house smelling good, this would be good for your child. So things that would be uplifting to their spirit, like nice, bright smelling scents, would be good for them. Let them pick it. Like, what do you ask them? What do they like to smell? And see what they choose, and have them smell that. Maybe have the aromatherapy specifically in their room. So those are just some suggestions on having aromatherapy as self-care. So that's our Scorpio risings. So now we're in the Sagittarius risings. So this is happening obviously in your house. This is your first house. So this is the house of I am. This is how others see you. It is your personality. It literally rules your head and face. Don't know why I included it. Maybe it'll be relevant later. But it does. It rules your head and face. It is self-expression. And it's also the home environment. So the fourth house is literally the edifice, the actual home. And then the first house is the environment, how your environment in your home feels. So just some things to think about. So let's see what keywords our Sagittarius risings have. I'm not even gonna ask a question. I'm gonna ask. Okay, so we have gather. So this could be a couple of things. This could be gathering of people because this is in it's an extroverted energy. So this could be either gathering together with friends, wanting to be more outgoing. So they want to go to a gathering. This could be gathering items together, like they're cleaning up because this is their home environment. And with the full moon being about releasing, they may want to clean up their room. So they're gathering together things that they want to get rid of because it no longer aligns with their personality. So let's see. For some reason, I felt like gathering their hair together. So if they've got long hair, they can get their head, so they want to gather their hair together. But what's the parents of the Sag rising need to know? Or our Sagittarius rising kids, what do their parents need to know? Okay, so these, I don't know what seeds were planted with the new moon or the beginning of this month for these kids, but I think they're harvesting something. And because this is all about wishes fulfilled. This is the Nine of Pentacles. So this is wishes fulfilled in a tangible form, where the Nine of Cups is like emotional fulfillment. So this is more tangible, but this card specifically is a balance of spirituality and practicality. So I don't know what kind of seeds, but maybe if they're a child, especially with having a Sagittarius rising, Sagittarius are the gurus. It's a very, most people don't realize it's a very, very spiritual sign, very spiritual sign. So they may want to learn something. They may want to take a class and, oh, that's what's the gathering. They may want to take a class, but something that requires them to learn something more about themselves. So consider talking to them about like maybe what they're, this comes back, I know it's theirs, what they're thinking, what they're feeling like they need for themselves in this time that helps them more to come, this is the house of their self. So what do they need to more expressive, self-expression of themselves, and see if maybe it's a class or something of that sort. I don't know why, because that's not normally the like where I think about it, but Sagittarius is about higher learning. So all right, so what's the self-care for the Sagittarius rising? Self-care, Sagittarius rising. Ooh, with this being the first house, that makes sense. Alone time. So even with all this gathering and socializing that they're doing, they still need to take time to space to be by themselves. They still need to make the time, they still need to hold space. to be alone. If they have siblings and their sibling, especially if they're like an older sibling, the siblings are have their little siblings, leave them be for a little while. Because sometimes that alone time isn't necessarily reflective of not wanting to be around people. They need to be around their own people. And sometimes it's not us. It'd be like that. Sometimes it's not us. That's not who they want to be around. Or if you just see where they're being like really secluded and they want to be alone, give them that space. Allow them to have that space to be alone, or encourage them. If you've been around people that are socialite and been bouncing around gatherings here, there, you know, this graduation party, that graduation party, tell them that it's okay to stop. Take a day and chill and be by yourself. Just encourage that gently. Encourage that, because it's the house of I am. So it needs to feel like it's their idea. So gently encourage them to take that time to themselves. So that is our Sagittarius rising. So Capricorn rising. Capricorn rising, this is happening in the 12th house. So this is the last of the houses, technically. We didn't start from one because of which rising sign we use, but if you notice in the wheel, it's the last house. So it's the end of a cycle. So it's about endings and new beginnings, results, seclusion, privacy, sleep, dreams. Your Capricorn risings, they may have some really interesting dreams and unconscious habits. So it is in terms of institutions, like places like hospitals and things like that, that's also ruled by there. So what do our Capricorn rising kids keyword? Yes. And for such a house that's really secluded, it's nice to see that they still want to shine. It's nice to see that they still want to shine, because that's typically, and understanding that they can shine at home. They can shine to themselves. And that is one of those things, like the 12th house, people are like, oh, I don't want people on my business. So they don't have to share. They just need to know that they're shining. So what are the especially with the Capricorn, the sign of I succeed. And so Capricorns are trying to learn what defines success for themselves, as opposed to their shadow, comparing themselves to everyone else and letting that define their success. So what are the parents of our Capricorn risings? What advice, inspired action can they take for Capricorn rising children? Oh, nice. The King of Cups, which is funny because Capricorn is like, you want me to do what with my feelings? But you need to feel the feels. You need to allow yourself space to feel the feels. They need to have space to feel the feels, and understand that they can feel the feels all by themselves. But they need to hold space for themselves to have those emotions. The King of Cups is super emotionally balanced. It is a king, so that divine masculine energy is there, but those emotional balance of the divine feminine is there. It is a very, very balanced energy. Typically, you see the King of Cups with a foot on land and water. This is a very, very balanced energy. And unlike that ship, yeah, there's a ship back there. He is completely unbothered though. What he's focused on is what's happening in his inner landscape. And that is a perfect card to go with that 12th house energy. Encourage them to go within and shine that light in here. Shine the light on their inner landscape. What are they holding on to? Say again, journaling is a great way to do that. All right. Because the moon is going to illuminate it, and they're going to feel the feelings. And you're like, what are these feelings coming from? Why are they feeling this way? Just hold space for them. Say, are you open to talking? Or do you just want to sit? You want to do on the pillow fort? Or how do you feel? What do you need in this moment? This is not about you. This is about them, and you holding space for them and letting them shine their own light within themselves, and you supporting them in them holding that torch. All right, what is the self-care for our Capricorn risings? Oh, okay, family. Family, y'all need to leave the house. Y'all need to plan a vacation. So summertime, if y'all are going to have a vacation, maybe let your child in on the plan. Put them in charge of it. Let them say, okay, you help come up with where we're gonna go, but planning vacation is their self-care. They could also be manifesting a vacation. So have them, again, journal, that will be scripting, and have them write out, you're gonna go on vacation, because we talked about fantasies and grounding them in reality. What would that vacation be? What is your dream vacation? Okay, cool. Let's talk about how could we make this dream vacation a reality? And some of them may be travel, maybe little travel, travel guides. There we go. And they don't know it. This may be the thing that opens them up. So something, planning a vacation. This could be a short distance or long. Sagittarius is long distance trips, generally speaking. So again, this is that helping them tap into that energy. So that is our Capricorn. So we have Aquarius. We have Aquarius. Yeah, got that. So this is going to be in the, how? I think I did this backwards again. Hold on, because I can't possibly be right. This one. Yeah, there's a slide in the wrong spot. Hold on. First house. Well, yeah. Hold on. And this is what multitasking looks like. Oopsies and boo-boos. One second. And I know what I did. I know what my brain did anyway. I know what my brain did. Let's see, where am I at? There I am. Okay, sorry. Aquarius rules the 11th house, and so my brain got stuck right there in that spot and wouldn't let it go. We're in Aquarius rising, so not Aquarius ruling the 11th house. My bad. All right, so Aquarius risings. So Aquarius risings, this is happening in your 11th house, which is your house. Like this is the house that you rule the 11th house. So very potent energy here. But this is the area of the big friend groups. So where 7th house is like that small, like that little clique that comes to your house all the time. This is more the bigger, the broader group, which more like the acquaintances and things that they hang out with. But these are the people they choose to spend their time with. This is also older siblings. So if they have an older sibling, this would be representative of that sibling's energy. It's all about group effort. So if they have a group project, things like that. This is also the hopes and dreams coming true. This is like, again, like I said earlier, that 5th house, what you create leads to your dreams coming true. That's what this, y'all can't see me doing it. My mouse. Where is there it is. So what you create propels your dreams to coming true. So this is all about your dreams coming true, your aspirations, and also about humanitarianism. So kids that have that full moon right there may be open to giving to charity, going to support a social cause. I mean, this is full moon happening right on the heels of kicking off the week before Juneteenth. So if that's something you're going to be participating in, this will be a great time for them to learn about Juneteenth and how they can be involved from a community aspect. But definitely some beautiful energy as far as their friends and things like that, illuminating, maybe they're making new friends. If they had a dream or hope or an aspiration, they may be seeing that come to fruition. So those are some things to think about. So what are our Aquarius risings? What keyword do our kids that are Aquarius rising need to know. Did I say the humanitarians? Hospitality. This is hospitality. So this could, I mean, you know, y'all are down, you may be having kids at the house, and you're teaching them how to be a good host. But this is all about that hospitality is all about that giving and that being of service. So again, this opportunity for them to go out and, give back to the community. Maybe they have clothes that they can clean out because full moon's about releasing. So some clothes that they want to give away. Maybe you can encourage them to get their friends together and they all do a big community event. Cool. So what is it that our children that are Aquarius rising, what do their parents need to know? Well, their parents need to know for an inspired action the parent can take. Support them during this full moon. Oh no. Oh. Friends. So whatever they need to do, and it's interesting, Libra, I'm not Libra, but Justice on the back of the deck, and both of these cards talk about balance. So we have Temperance. So this is about a harmony between their divine feminine and their divine masculine idea and energy. So this goes back to what we said at the beginning, those dreams, hopes, aspirations, they may be big, broad, maybe not be grounded, and that Saturn energy wanting to ground them. So the big, broad, boundless ideas is feminine energy, grounding them into reality as masculine energy. So that Temperance wants to balance them out. So there may be a big idea that your child has regarding some humanitarian effort, but it's big, it's boundless. And what you want to help them do is how can you ground that in? How can they garner the support of their friends to help them in this community effort? And with this particular Temperance card, and most Temperance cards, the illustration is an angel. So they may, whatever idea they have, may be divinely inspired. So again, like I said, don't poo-poo the idea. Don't be like, oh, they don't think, no. Listen to them because they may be getting divine guidance, but they may need to ground it so that it can be a reality. And it's not that it has to be a reality with the full moon. You're taking advantage of the full moon's energy to start planning and grounding that idea. So but even if it's not about an idea, Temperance is all about moderation and balance. It's all about whatever you do, moderation and balance. Not too much, not too little, that sweet spot in the middle. So then we have self-care what's our self-care for our Aquarius risings. So they too need some time alone. So this may be a solo idea, but they need to spend some time. And alone time is not that they need to be alone themselves, but that day as they're pondering that idea, they don't need their friends chiming in. They want to get their friends in once they have it grounded. Once they have the idea figured out and really settled, so they need to spend that time alone. Maybe go out in nature with their pen and pad and start writing it out. Maybe go someplace where there's water and start sketching it out, writing out, whatever that case may be. And once they know that they have it and it's really grounded and you can see, you're like, okay, all right, I can see where we can do this. Then, okay, cool, you want to bring in the group, bring in the group. But initially, this needs to be something they do and they plan it out by themselves. And they may have had this idea for a minute and they're just like, I just heard scatterbrain. And so the alone time will help them with monkey mind. Aquarius sun. It'll help them with their mind going, blah, 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 blah. Alone time in the silence will help them get that idea and then allow it to, without interference, fully form for them. And then it's like, oh, and then they'll know. So that is our Aquarius rising, coming down to the last two. Oh, I went too fast. Hold on. There we go. All right, so now we have Pisces risings. So Pisces, this is Jupiter energy as well. Jupiter is the natural ruler of Pisces. So this is another sign that's going to feel this full moon strongly, even though it's not happening in that sign. It is feeling it by proxy. There we go. And so the 10th house is all about public image. It is the father figure or authority figure in their life. It's achievements, accomplishments, and reputation. So our Pisces risings are going to see illuminated either their relationships with people in authority, relationships with whoever is the dominant, the father or authoritarian parents in their life. And they may do something like that's going to get them notoriety or recognition, like an award, an achievement. Some Pisces risings may be going to graduation around this time. That is a 10th house thing. This is an achievement, accomplishment. It goes to their reputation. And all of these things will be illuminated for them. So let's see what the keyword is for our Pisces rising. And what did I say? These kids are about to get something. We got rewards. So yeah, a lot of the Pisces risings either just graduated or graduating. If they just graduated, they may be getting some like graduation presents. But this is about rewards, achievements, accomplishments. Great job to all the kids. But these Pisces risings are saying like, hey, we got stuff coming. We got stuff coming. So very nice. What can our parents of the Pisces risings do to support them during this full moon? Besides cheer them on real loudly, like you're doing great. Like you recognizing them and you. One moment. Why do you have to jump? Okay, so what did I say? Did I forget a card? Okay, I don't think I did. So let us see what the inspired action is for our Pisces rising. What's inspired action for their parents for this full moon? What's the Pisces rising parents? Yes. Oh, God. Uh-oh. So then we have the Empress. Yes. So Pisces rising. So Empress energy, which we have the moon. The Empress energy is all about being receptive. So it is all about receiving. It is all about abundance. It is all about lavishness. Like let that energy rain down on them. The Empress is the divine feminine. So the divine feminine is all about receiving. It is receptive. Like the moon is receiving the light from the sun to be illuminated. The Empress is receiving that abundance. I'm not working hard for it. It comes to me easily and effortlessly. So removing any limiting beliefs. So if you're somebody that still says money doesn't grow on trees, there's a lack mindset. do not put that on the kids. They are clearly of an abundant energy. Allow them to be in that energy. Allow them to, if they have an idea and it's like, you can't make money doing that. Yes, they can. Yes, they can. But there's no work in that. It does not matter. It doesn't matter. Allow them to break the cycle. They are lavish, unyielding abundance. Remind them of that. Remind them, regardless of what your living situation is, that is just, that's not lavish abundance. Be open to receiving their rewards. Yes, yeah, so they have movement. So moving their body, this could be dance, this could be yoga, this could be exercise, whatever causes them to move the energy and allow it to flow, because the energy's not flowing will stop the flow of that abundance being able to come to them. So they need to allow the flow of energy, and moving your body is one way that you can do that. So encourage them to get up. If they've been sitting down, get them up. During the full moon, have them get up, move their body, jump around, do something. Move their body. That's their self-care. And last but certainly not of the least, we have the Aries rising, the sign of I am, the natural ruler of the first house, all about the self. So Aries rising, this is happening in the 9th house for you, which is the natural place of the Sagittarius. So 9th house is all about higher learning, religion and spirituality, beliefs, travel, foreign interests, dreams, teachers, anything with far off places. So you may see illuminated for them their relationships with their teachers, especially with kids getting out of school. They may have a teacher they're feeling a way about. Maybe that teacher is leaving and they're going to lose touch, encouraging them to write to the teacher. They may start asking questions about spirituality, depending on how old they are. You know, be open to their questions, because it's okay to have questions, and allowing them to find their way. Their way doesn't have to be your way. It may come to be your way, but allowing them to find their own path to source. They may be interested in like learning a foreign language. They may want to study something about a foreign country. If they're kids that are, you know, going off to college, they may want to spend a year traveling in another country. All of these things, and also paying really close attention to their dreams. Because again, this is another area of the chart that is all about having really vivid dreams. And if they say, hey, I had this dream, tell them to write it down. You don't know, just tell them to write it down. So what is our keyword for the kids that are the Aries risings? Aries rising. Yes. All right, so we have observe. So again, something up there like, you know, being reflective. This is a really reflective area of the chart because it's a philosophical area. So they're really trying to sit with themselves and like, okay, what do I believe? I know what my parents believe. What do I believe? And being able to hold space for them to ask those questions. So what is it? What's the inspired action for hold on, I'm gonna see if that was it. That was it, it'll come back. That was it. It'll come back. What is the inspired action for the parents of our Aries risings? Wow. We have the Ace of Cups. And what I saw was open your heart. Ace of Cups in another deck is all about the spiritual awakening. It's about coming in a close relationship with the divine. And for some of the kids, regardless of their age, that might be what's going on with them. because that's what's being illuminated in their chart, is that this is the place in the chart that is regarding their relationship with the divine. The 8th house is really about, it's another area, a spiritual area, it's esoteric and metaphysical concepts. But the 9th house is like what I've learned in the 8th house. What do I feel about it? How does this relate to me from a philosophical perspective? And that's why it's an area of higher learning, because that's a lot of times for us in college, this is when this happens. As we go to college and we learn about all these different cultures and traditions and things like that, and we start to question, okay, like, well, but based on, I had this small vision of the world back in the 3rd house, but now in the 9th house, I have this broader vision of the world. How does this now impact my vision of myself? So this is where they may be at. So making sure for you, holding space for them in your heart, regardless of what that looks like, and helping them learn, find the right resources, the right teachers during this journey. And understanding this is love. The Ace of Cups is literally love from source. All of the aces are the creator giving you something. Whether it's the wands, it's giving you a creative spark. Cups giving you some sort of emotional or spiritual connection. Pentacles giving you something tangible. Swords giving you a new thought, a new idea. All of these things are divinely given to you. So whatever is happening, understand this is a divine gift to you and them. So what is our self-care for our Aries risings? Oh, look, create art. So, okay, so I heard channeled art. So somebody might be making channeled art. They may be making art, don't know where it's coming from. Just let them make art. Let them make art. But creating art will give them a way to kind of focus on, what it is they're trying, their thoughts. It's a great medium to focus. So have them draw, create art, write a story, write a poem, whatever that needs to look like. If they're having dreams, sketch them out, whatever that needs to look like for them, let's have them create some art. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So that was our first full moon in Sagittarius reading, Parents Edition, so that you know what's happening for your kids. So comment down below their rising sign and how you saw this play out. I would love to see how this looked, because again, like, I'm complete transparency, this is the first time I decided to do this. So I'm really encouraged and excited to see how this turns out. So please comment, be sure to like and share. If you are new to the garden, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you know when I post more. YouTube season at least has another few weeks. And then I'll be back in podcast season, but I will be trying to share some of my podcast episodes on my YouTube so that you can at least get some pieces of those. And then if you feel called, you can listen to the rest of them on the actual podcast. But yeah, I'm really excited to see how you feel. Thank you so much again for watching, and have a great day. Bye.